After a 6-game homestand to open the season, North Dakota hockey is set to hit the road this weekend to take on Boston University in a marquee non-conference series from Agganis Arena. To talk more about North Dakota and to preview the matchup with the Terriers, I'm pleased to be joined by Brad Schlossman of the Grand Forks Herald. Brad, thanks for taking some time.
Anytime, Alex.
North Dakota has started this season 4-1-1. It's been a great start for Brad Berry's group. What have you seen as the strongest reason why they have had this great open to 2023-24?
Well, I think the big question coming into the season was you have a new goalie, you have 8 new defensemen. How are they going to defend? Can they defend better than they did last year? When they started defending better at the end of the year, they were a pretty good team, but they dug themselves too big of a hole. So far, that has been a big difference. They have most certainly defended better, even though they've had some key injuries on the back end, and goaltending has been better than you could have ever hoped for through 1 month.
Yeah, you would say so. Living person, 3 NCHC Goalie of the Week awards, and he was the goaltender of the month for October. Pretty good start for him between the pipes. You mentioned holding leads. North Dakota's done so against the then #1 team in the country in Minnesota. Well, Wisconsin team that's 7-1 is now #5. A Minnesota State team that could certainly be the best team in the CCHA again this year, the way things shook out. UND's risen to #3 in the country because of those wins. How much will those help this group, both in the short and the long term this season?
Yeah, it's always weird to be talking pairwise in October. And, I think people say, man, it's 2 weeks into the year. Are we already talking about this? Yes, because it's important. These non-conference games are critical. And UND has gotten off to a good start. And I think the Wisconsin win is going to end up being a really big one. The Badgers have looked great. Minnesota, I think, is going to be a very good team. Winning the series against Minnesota State, you get a tie and a win. I think that could end up being a nice result. Now UND goes to Boston University. First chance to play on the road. You do get more pairwise points for winning a road game than a home game. BU may be the best team in Hockey East. They may be the best team in the country. Who knows? We'll see as time goes on. They do have some really high-end players, and this is another opportunity for if UND can go out there and have a good weekend. They're really setting themselves up well for the pairwise.
Yeah, this is a Terriers team, as you mentioned, Brad, one of the best in the country, the preseason #1 in both polls. They made the Frozen Four a season ago. Jay Bantolfo's team got off to a bit of a slow start this year, but it looks like they've righted the ship. What do you make of this Boston University side?
Yeah, I mean, UND is going to see, arguably the best forward in the country and the best defenseman in the country this weekend. Macklin Celebrini is a guy who, I thought before the season would probably win the Hobey Baker Award as a 17-year-old freshman. Good chance he goes #1 overall in the NHL draft next year. Explosive skater. He's a great finisher. He can make plays. He can handle some physicality. Just an exceptional player. Really hard to contain. Lane Hudson, just an elite skater and skill, and he's the defenseman. He was a Hobey finalist as a freshman. Freshman D-men. Don't see a lot of Hobey finalists among freshman D-men. So it's not just those two. They've got some, Tom Willanders, the #11 overall pick. We haven't even mentioned him. They'll probably have 7 drafted defensemen dressed on Friday night. Forwards, they got a lot of size up front to go along with the skill. So this is going to be one of the best teams in the country. They did get off to a slow start. Having covered UND for a while, I have seen those teams that have high expectations maybe think it's going to be easy, and they take some wake-up calls early in the year and then get back on track. And to me, from the outside, it looks like maybe that happened. They also were playing a lot of road games early, and now all of a sudden they're back at home. They haven't lost to Agganis this year. So I think this is going to be a huge challenge for UND.
Yeah, it's a Terrier team that boasts 14 NHL draft picks, joint most in the country with BC. They're averaging 4 goals a night. On paper, it looks to be a great matchup against 2 of the best teams in the nation. Brad, what are some keys for North Dakota to have success on the road and pull out a win in this series?
Yeah, I think they have to find a way to keep Celebrini out of the scoring areas, have to play a tight checking game and not turn pucks over in bad spots, because BU's skill level, they'll make them pay for some of those. So you have to take care of the pucks, be responsible defensively, and let the chances come. I don't think you want to be cheating too much for offense. The chances will come if you play a solid defensive game. and they have to play a physical style of game and make it not really fun for BU skilled players.
It's been a good recipe for North Dakota over the years. We'll see if they can on the road this weekend against this good Boston University team. Be sure to tune in. Both games will be on ESPN Plus starting at 6 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock Eastern. Brad will be there, of course, along with their Midco Sports crew. Follow him and Midco Sports social channels all weekend long for updates. Brad, thanks for the time. Enjoy the series.
Anytime. Thanks, Alex.